We're back, folks. There's an internet issue, but we're back. Dan
What was
says.
it? Okay. So
says,
the level playing field. You're talking about the level playing field. Listen, it's not leveled yet. Okay, maybe it is in the recruiting wars, but Texas A&M has a lot to prove on the field before we can start talking about their equality to Alabama. This is an 8-4 team from last year. This is a team that hasn't been inside of 19 points against Nick Saban before last year when they've played Alabama. And this is a coach who got run out of Tallahassee and basically got blown out in Atlanta by Jalen Hurts, who couldn't throw a 20-yard pass, 24-7, and lost DeAndre Francois on the very same night. So you want to talk about equality with Jimmy Bo Fisher and Nick Saban? I would laugh at that because the facts of the matter are not with that. So are they recruiting well? Great. Yes, they are. How can you not recruit well in Texas at College Station with all those resources? You'd have to be completely devoid of any talent not to be able to recruit well at a place like Texas A&M. So good for them, but they'll be in Tuscaloosa on October 8th.
Shane says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, Nick is just pissed Alabama got outbid.
Well, listen, Alabama got their share of players. I don't think people are really more. I think really the truth is that Nick Saban's talking a lot and maybe more than he should and more than he does because of how comfortable he is with what he's got. So, think of it that way.
We got a text here and a Facebook Live. Switching gears here. Greg asked Shane, are you going to take over for Mick? No, I'm not a play-by-play guy, folks. Ryan says here on the Titan More text line, happy Friday, gents. Not sure who you'd pick, but I'm hoping next fall you're joined by Dozo, Batesy, or Mike Morgan in that order. As for the Jimbo Saban mess, in my opinion, Saban just stated facts, and little whiny butt Jimbo got his feelings hurt because it's true he ain't recruited that well at A&M before this season when big money brought him a bunch of 5-stars.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that Saban is a saint, but Jimbo is a mealy-mouthed, squirrely little sleazeball. SEC Media Days ought to be fun. Appreciate the text, Ryan. Here's what I saw this text, not text, but tweet. I think it was in 27 years. How many 10-win seasons do you think Texas A&M has had?
Maybe 2.
1.
Yeah. So I mean, it's they have been a non-factor. And listen, Calzada had the game of his life last year, and they won by 3 on a last-second walk-off field goal. Think about that for a minute. And the week before that, Mississippi State ran them out of the building. They lost 4 games to LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. Went 8-4 and played in some bowl down here in Florida. So Jimmy Bo is really proud of his team and shows that Nick Saban is up his rear end because of the way he's reacted to this and the way he has commented and the things he's said personally to Nick Saban and won't take his phone calls. Well, okay, listen. I don't know what they got going on between the two of them, but I think it's worse for Fisher. It just seems that way with the reactions.
Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR text line, or hotline, I should say, we're going to have Frank Frangie in the second portion of the program talk about Mick Hubert. We got some Mick comments here brought to you by Meldon Law. Dan says James Bates to replace Mick. I've heard a lot of people. Andy says the Ring of Honor rules need to be changed to enshrine Mick Hubert. They may do something that down the road, I guess. I don't know what they're going to do. I've known about this for a couple of days before it broke. Mick had talked about retiring all year long. He's 68, has had a house in Bradenton, loves it down there. And I mean, he's 68 years old. It's time to hang it up. I do know they're going to do a national search, but whoever it is has to be able to broadcast football and basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe I should throw my hat in the ring, QB. How would you like that? Would you like me to join you?
Why don't you give us a little tape right now of how you would call a play in football?
Gators 3rd and 8 from the 30-yard line. Outside rush is coming from Alabama. Oh, God, here goes. Who's our quarterback, QB?
Probably Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson scrambles. He gets away, throws the ball to the flat. It's caught by.
Well, you got to know the players, JC.
Well, I mean, I will. By. Give me one.
Trent Whittemore.
Trent Whittemore, he breaks the tackle, goes down the sideline. He's going to score. Gators lead 7-0. And then you jump in and take it from there. Run out with the color description of the play. How about that? Florida is leading 7-0 right now. Takes the lead on the top-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide, the SEC championship game. We've got 25,000 Gator fans going crazy in the corner. This is a great scene, folks. And I mean, dude, I could do this in my sleep. Okay, I could do this job in my sleep. Just tell me, I can. I'm putting my hat in right now as the announcer for the University of Florida, the Gator Radio Network with the QB.
You're getting blasted by our loyal listeners, by the way.
Just because I didn't know two names, because I don't have the big board in front of me. I get it. Hey, look, I went to Florida. My dad went to Florida. My mom went to Florida. My brother went to Florida. My youngest kid, just graduated from Florida. I got post-baccalaureate work in Florida. I went to the J school. I basically won the anchorship at WUFT in the first semester I was there. Come on. Get me in there, bro. I'm cheap and available. QB.
They don't need anybody cheap and available. John says, remember, Mick wasn't from Gainesville. Everyone's suggesting all these Florida guys. Yeah, he's from Dayton, Ohio.
Yes, so Otis Boggs was before Mick, and that's who I grew up listening to. And Otis Boggs, Pat Dooley would know who I'm talking about. He's one of the folks who remember the 70s Gators, but he was there's only been two announcers in my lifetime on the Gator Radio Network, Otis Boggs and then Mick. So it's a job that people have hung around with and wanted to keep. Yeah.
All right. So JC, what is your favorite Mick Hubert moment?
Well, when I was doing TV, I did a feature story on him, and honestly, I've rarely listened to the games on the radio. I've generally heard post-game shows driving back from a game that I would attend, and I've always watched these games on television, it seems. But because back when, like I said, before Mick, you didn't have the television coverage that you had, and radio was much more prevalent to folks who were interested in the game, obviously. So my favorite moment with Mick actually wasn't on a broadcast. It was when I was at TV 20 and I did a feature story on Mick, and I got to spend a couple of hours with him in his office at the stadium. I think his office was in the stadium on the west side, and we got to kind of hang around and hang out with each other, and I got to know him a little bit. I kind of lost touch with him after I left television, but that was a time when we didn't have 40 games on every day, and I think radio was much more prevalent to the fans. And I was happy to bring a feature story on him, where he was from, how he did it, what he does, and show pictures of him and where he was and how he operated when I was at TV 20. So that would be my favorite story, because I wasn't able to listen as often, except driving back on a post-game show. And then, of course, Steve Russell would show up and be on. But Mick has always shown great enthusiasm and great love for the University of Florida sports, and I guess the University of Florida in general, and certainly will be missed, and was somebody who fans, he's a first-name guy, Mick. And, Mick's on the call, Mick Hubert. Well, I just think that when you're there that long and you've been that successful, folks really will miss you when you leave. So it'll be there'll be some tough shoes to fill for that job, for sure.
Event says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, rather have a great voice at play-by-play. Ex-players should stick with doing color. Yeah, the only former player that I know that does play-by-play is Todd Ellis, the former quarterback at South Carolina.
Good. He's really good.
Yeah, he is good. But he's also an attorney there. But I would have zero interest in doing play-by-play.
No, QB, you do. You're in the perfect seat for what your capabilities are and what you're good at. Stan White at Auburn is a former player that does it, I think. And so, yeah, I agree with you. That's what color guys are about, former players.
Yeah, Jeff says, how about Cardozo and Shane in the booth? I don't see Cardozo being a play-by-play for football. Remember, it's got to be a guy for football and basketball. And basketball moves so fast, you have to have experience doing that. I think it's going to be like I've been told, it's going to be a national search. it's going to probably be somebody people have never heard of. I mean, nobody knew who Mick Hubert was when he came here.
Exactly right. And that's exactly right. So Otis Boggs was a tough shoe to fill, and Mick had that job, and he obviously did it, and people were happy with him. Jeremy Foley was very happy with him. And so, it's the day has to come at some point when you say, okay, I'm going to go off into the sunset and enjoy my golden years, so to speak.
John says, how about Gus Johnson?
I'm a big Gus Johnson guy, man. I love that. That's really the only reason to watch Fox games. I mean, it's Gus Johnson. I mean, I'm not really all hyped up about Wisconsin and Minnesota kicking it off on Big Noon. By the way, QB, Terry and I talked about this on Wednesday. They're going to stick Alabama and Texas, most likely, on their Big Noon broadcast and put those Texas fans in the stadium at 11 a.m. And Alabama's coming to town. Only they could mess it up in Austin. I mean, it's just, well, Fox is doing it to them. It's not their fault. They don't want to play that game at 11 a.m. I can promise you that.
No, it's silly. Let's switch gears to the PGA Championship. Rory McIlroy leads it at 5 under par, shot over Zalatoris, and 2 shots over Justin Thomas.
Yeah, I got 2 of those 3. Oh, wait a minute. I got all 3 of them, QB. How about that? A trifecta. A trifecta after day 1. Now, we'll see. But, hey, that's a pretty good bet to hit the top 3 on day 1. How about that?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very windy out there this morning. I had Xander Schauffele and Cam Smith. They're both at 2 under par.
I'll be there.
I don't know where Hideki is. I took him as well.
Yes,
I'm trying to find him here.
Not really sure why you took Hideki. That was not your best pick, QB.
He's only 2 over. He can light it up in a heartbeat.
He's not winning the U.S. Open, bro. But
it's the PGA, so
he's not winning the PGA or the U.S. Open. but QB, why are you sick? What's going on? All this travel?
I'm not sick. My throat. It's like allergies. It just, yeah, I'm not sick. We got Amy's telling us. Talking about Mick started his broadcasting at Bradley in Peoria, born in Kankakee, Illinois. Yeah. David Still in between Mick, best Gator announcer ever. They shouldn't make Gator CD with Mick's best calls. Yeah, they had a little deal on Twitter yesterday with some of his best calls with football. So, we'll see. They got to move fast, I would think. Somebody asked on here, why wouldn't they hire 2 different guys to do one do football, one do basketball? I just don't know if they want to do that.
I don't think anybody does it.
Nobody. Normally for pretty much his entire career, Mick did all 3 sports.
That's right.
He started backing away from baseball. Cardozo took over. Mick does TV for baseball now. But whoever it is going to do football and basketball.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what everybody does, mostly. I mean, it's a big job. You got to pay for that. You don't pay
Dan says, how about Beth Mowens?
Oh, gosh. Well, listen, I think Florida will make the right pick. It's a tough act to follow, just as it was when Mick came, because Otis was loved. Because, again, most people listen to the radio back in the 70s. That's a fact. It was not on TV. So it's a big deal. It's a much different world now, but radio is still important. It's still important. And fans have this love for their announcers, and many times just turn the volume down and may watch it, with their eyes. But it's better not to watch it if you're listening to it on the radio, because then you can envision it for yourself. You're not actually seeing it. You're thinking in your mind, and the announcer's job is to bring those pictures so that you can create a vision of your own. That's what people love about radio, and that's what's so important about radio. I grew up my whole life on radio, and that's, to me, people, when I grew up and learned about it, the beauty of radio comes from the ability of the announcer to create an image in your mind of what's going on and not let your eyes watch it. Now everybody watches it. But the radio was wonderful, and you turned it on in your bedroom and you listened late at night or whatever it was, and you thought in your head, in your own mind, and created your own visions. And that's what makes radio so powerful. And that's why it's basically still there to me, because of how TV has taken over, radio has to form some role. And the role it forms is it allows you to create your own image and your own likeness. And it allows you to hear it when you're not in front of the TV of what's going on, obviously. So with satellite radio today, you can pick up local broadcasts on that, and it makes it much more appealing, and it allows you to create your own visions.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my younger days, because I was an Ole Miss guy. It was never on TV. There was only like one game on TV, so I would listen to the radio laying in bed.
And who was the announcer? Do you recall who the announcer was?
I'm embarrassed to say I don't. I just remember the Mississippi State announcer.
Yes, Jack
Crystal.
He was another. Wrap it up in maroon and white. And he was another legend in the SEC. We got some, Larry Munson in Georgia. At Georgia was legendary. And it's a shame young people today don't know who those folks are, because those people were gold. They were gold.
Daniel says on Facebook Live, I need to head down to the local pub tonight and do karaoke with my Johnny Cash voice right now.
You're good.
It's allergies or something. Yesterday, it's gotten worse. It'll go away, but other than that, it's all good. JC, we got a text on the Titan and More text line. It's referring to the Saban Jimbo deal. He says, guys, do y'all really think Alabama doesn't cheat? I'm going to let you answer that.
Well, I think Alabama did what most teams do, but just better at it. But I will say this: cheating today takes on a new meaning, doesn't it? So, listen, let the former players talk about their coaches. How about we hear from them? And I would be willing to bet you that most of the Alabama, or all of them, will speak very highly of their former coach, especially the ones who are making seven figures right now, and there's a hell of a lot of them. So listen, the idea that Alabama cheated back in the day, hell yeah, they did. Absolutely they did. You don't think Mike Dubose cheated? You don't think that Mike Shula took advantage of some certain things? Heck yeah, just like Charlie Pell. Okay? So, I mean, it's the way the world was. But today, Jimbo Fisher acting like an eighth grader in front of the media because his butt is hurt is really not becoming of the SEC. Okay, it's not becoming of a guy in charge making $10 million a year and in charge of a football program that is trying to get attention, that can't beat certain teams on consistent basis like Mississippi State and LSU. So, listen, Jimbo's got some players now. If he can't do it, they're going to spend a lot of money for an average old dude. And again, he hasn't been within 19 points of Nick Saban 3 out of 4 times at Alabama. He got run out of Florida State, and he got beat the hell out of when Alabama played them with a quarterback who couldn't throw it 20 yards. So you tell me what Jimmy Bo Fisher is upset about. Let's hear it. I think we know it's a lot more than just Nick Saban.
Jeff says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, Matt Schick. He's a good broadcaster and extraordinarily funny. I don't know who that is. Do you?
Yeah, I do, but he's not. I mean, yeah, I know. But I mean, you just throw it. You can throw it.
What team does he announce for?
I've just heard him on national broadcasts, but I've heard a lot of guys on national broadcasts that I think will stay national. And ESPN's a huge employer, and certainly Fox is, and takes you all over the place. I'm not sure somebody wants to settle down in Gainesville who's been doing it nationally. Maybe they do. Wait till they pay these property taxes in Southwest Gainesville. We'll see how much they love that. But anyway, it's anyone's guess right now. I don't know why we're even bothering guessing. I mean, there's a lot of names.
All right, JC, we're going to let you hit the road, and we're going to get to Frank Frangie and get his thoughts on Mick Hubert. Enjoy the weekend, my man.
Okay, we'll see you guys Monday. Have a good, safe weekend.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan and More hotline. Going to come back. We'll be joined by the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Frank Frangie. Get his thoughts on Mick hanging it up. You're watching and listening to Pod Oak Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, Aikido America, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. At South State Bank, we understand that small businesses need a community business partner they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. We're going to head to the Titan MR text line, Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Frank Frangie. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Shane, I'm doing well. How are you, man? Beautiful day today.
Yeah, you're not throwing your hat in as the voice of the Gators, are you?
I don't think I have, Shane. I think it's my guess is this is probably they're going to go try and find the next Mick Hubert. When Mick take the job when he was 35, I think, and somewhere thereabouts. And no, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm happy to help however I can, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you heard the news, I mean, Mick's 60. I didn't realize Mick was that old. And you know, in the booth with him last year, he had talked about, you know, maybe it was time to hang it up. He has a house down in Bradenton. But then he decided this week it was that time. One of the great voices in college football. Just tell us some of your interactions with Mick Hubert.
Number one, he's a wonderful guy. He's not just a voice of a generation, Shane. He's a voice of numerous generations, and not many people can say that. I know so many Gator fans that can't imagine what Gator football or Gator basketball will sound like without him calling the games. And that's the ultimate testament to how great he has been, man. You know, I hadn't seen Mick in a while. We texted back and forth, but I got a chance to catch up with him when you guys did the spring game. We were down there. And I didn't, you know, we talked for a while about the business and the years and the changes in our industry, but I never sensed at any of that point that Mick was thinking about getting out of it. He certainly didn't tell me that. We were there about 10, 15 minutes and before you guys called the game. So I'm surprised by it. I'm saddened for Gator. I'm happy for Mick. He's a good dude, and he's going to go to Sarasota and live on the beach and have a big time. And I think that's awesome. Saddened a little bit for Gator Nation because Gators love Mick Hubert. They really do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What's your favorite? Now, obviously, when you were covering the Gators most of the time, you were in the press box. So you weren't listening to Mick. But do you have a favorite moment or a favorite call of his?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Now, I told this story. I tell Dorian this story all the time. Larry Vitale and I left the newspaper business in March of '93. Okay, that's when I got out of the newspaper business and got into radio full time. And I was doing some stuff on the Gator Network. I was doing some baseball, some women's basketball, and I was doing pre and post on some of those pay-per-views. Well, the Warfel to Doring game, Shane, was a pay-per-view game. It wasn't on live TV. So Larry Vittel and I had the pregame before the game and the post-game. So we're sitting there in the end zone about how this post-mortem, how the Gators have just lost the game. And then, of course, Danny hits Chris with Dory's got a touchdown play. And that was an amazing moment. And then to go back and hear Mick's call, which is his signature call, I'm like everybody else. I think that one jumps off the page. I think when they beat Florida State 52-20 for the 96 championship, his call on the Ike Hilliard change directions play was magnificent. More recently, the call on the interception in 97 by Dwayne Thomas when this place is an insane asylum. Came back. I think then later there was another. This place is an insane asylum. I think maybe on the Felipe Franks to Tyree Cleveland play. So I think those are kind of the ones that stand out for me. But there's so many. I think his energy, his passion, how you could hear in his voice how excited he was and how much it meant to him when the Gators made a big play. And you know this from sitting next to him. You could hear in his voice how bummed out he was when they didn't. And I thought that was the greatness of Mick, is that, man, he was really excited when it went well, and he was really bummed when it didn't, but never lost the air of how clearly he articulated, how clearly he told the story. I love listening to Mick Hubert. I can assure you that.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. When things are going bad, boy, you can tell. It was funny, not funny, but just the way he handled that was awesome. So, I mean, who do you think they're going to go at? I mean, as you said, they hired Mick when he was young.
Yeah.
You know, people have thrown around a bunch of names, but nobody knew who Mick Hubert was when they hired him from Dayton, Ohio, or wherever he was from.
Right.
You got any thoughts or anybody that you would like to see them go after?
Well, I think there's two or three. What paradigm do they pursue, Shane? I think is the question. How do they build this? I think that's question number one. I think do you go try to find the next Mick Hubert, a guy that's in his 30s or 40s that can do it for the next 30 years? I think that's what most teams do. That's been Florida's model over the years. Now, look, the last time they hired a play-by-play guy, it wasn't Scott making the hire. I'm not even sure it was Jeremy making the hire. I mean, it was in 1988. So it's been a long time since they've had to do this. So I think, do you go after the next young guy that maybe nobody knows? I think that's one idea, but he's got a chance to be really, really good. I think there's a possibility of that. Do you go after a local guy, Jeff Cardozo, Kyle Crooks, somebody there in Gainesville that certainly knows where all the bodies are buried and are damn good broadcasters and would do a terrific job as well? So I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. Some teams have guys that do just football and not basketball and baseball. So I think Scott's got to decide his direction first. Before James Bates is a guy that you know well, that I think is a terrific broadcaster and lives there in Gainesville. So, and I have no idea what Scott's thinking. I have no idea what direction they're headed. But I think what they've got to decide first and foremost, Shane, is A, do you go get someone from the outside that people don't know, but he's a bright young broadcaster and he can do it for the next 30 years? Do you go get somebody on the inside that everybody kind of does know and is waiting for his chance? And I think all those things are in play. I think you have to know the direction Scott's going before knowing who it might be. Having said that, I would think maybe a national search to start just to see what's out there. I'm biased a little bit because I know all those local guys and I like them all. But I think Scott's got to determine and define what he's going to do first before you know.
Right. Talk a little bit about, how hard it is to learn how to be a play-by-play guy. You kind of had to learn the ropes and worked your way up. How difficult is that? And I've heard that they want a guy that can do both football and basketball because basketball is so fast-paced.
Right.
How difficult is it for somebody? Let's just use Jeff, for example. Jeff's fantastic with baseball. That's his sport. But how difficult would it be for him if they offered him that job? Well,
here's what I'll tell you. That's a great question, by the way. There's two different questions. Number one, learning to do play-by-play. Number two, doing a myriad of sports. The first thing is it takes a while. I didn't do play-by-play until 2007. Shane, I had done a talk show forever. I'd been a sports writer. And I did national games with Gino Torretta, as you know, for 7 years. And you have to learn. You have to learn to pace yourself. The preparation part is easy for a former sports writer or broadcaster because we've always done that. But you can't go too fast. And boy, we've never quit learning that. I've got a lot of buddies who are NFL play-by-play guys, and we almost have we have these Zoom get-togethers, and we talk about what's working and what's not working. And you work very hard at it. Slow down, pacing, preparation, knowing your team. So I think it takes a while if you haven't done it. Now, younger guys are kind of brought up as play-by-play guys. So it's a little different, but for a guy like me who worked his way into play-by-play, now I'm in my 16th year of doing it now, so I think it's a little easier. But the first year or two, you have to learn the pacing side of it. As for your point about various sports, that would not be a deterrent for me. If Jeff's the right guy or whoever's the right guy, if you say, hey, look, you've done a lot of baseball, have you done football and basketball? I'd want to audition that person. And again, I'm just using Jeff as an example, and because I really like Jeff, but if Jeff Cardozo's the guy, if for some reason he's the guy, then I would not say, well, because he hasn't done football or basketball, I wouldn't hire him. I don't think they would do that. The bigger question is, how big is the pool of candidates? I wouldn't think it's just local people, Shane. I would think there's a vast array of potential play-by-play guys that I think they could land there. But I would not rule out a guy that you think's a good play-by-play guy, a good representative of the university, because he hasn't done one sport or the other. At least that's my take.
Hey, Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. A few more minutes with Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can hear Frank Monday through Friday on his show at 1010XL and Jacks. All right, I got to get your thoughts before I let you go here on this Jimbo Saban deal going on. Ooh. I mean, you've been in this business a long time. Ooh. Never seen anything like this.
Shane, I have never. Listen, it's my 42nd year in the media. Okay. It's my 35th year of doing it on radio. I've been to 35 of the last 36 SEC media days. I've interviewed all these guys. I know them both. I know most of the people in sports today. I've never seen anything like this. Here's the bottom line. Jimbo's pissed, bro. I mean, that's the bottom line. He's ready to fight. That's as angry as I have seen a coach at another coach. I can't remember that. I mean, John Chaney one time threatened to kill John Calipari. Remember that after a game, right after in a post-game press conference. But that's as angry as I've seen, and Jimbo won't let it go. And listen, regardless of what side you take in this one, in fairness to Jimbo, Nick Saban called him out. Saban came on yesterday, and I don't dislike either guy. I don't have a favorite or at least favorite in the battle, Shane. But Saban came out yesterday and said, well, I never accused anybody of cheating. Well, you kind of did. He implied that we did it appropriately and that Texas A&M did it inappropriately by buying their players and we didn't buy our players. So he kind of did accuse him of that. And no matter what Nick says, I think that relationship's over, by the way. Jimbo was pretty clear about that. And I don't think it's going to lead to anything. I don't think all of a sudden NIL is going to change or the NCAA is going to change. But everyone's afraid of Nick. Everyone's afraid to say anything about Nick because they're afraid he's going to put 54-10 on you next time you play him, right? Jimbo's not afraid. Now, we'll see how it plays out. Jimbo's got to quit having those 8-4 seasons if he's going to talk like that. But it was wild, man. Crazy.
We got 2 Facebook Lives before I get you out of here. Yeah. Shane says, Mark Daniels at UCF is a Gator grad. And Dan asked, has UF reached out to you, Frank?
First question, Mark does a terrific job, and I think Mark's a terrific broadcaster. If Florida wants to go that way, you could certainly do well with Mark. Mark's a good guy, too. He's a pro. He's the ultimate pro. Florida's not reached out to me, and as I said before, as I told you, Shane, at the top, I'm a 63-year-old NFL play-by-play guy. I think the world of Scott. I think, Shane, you know how much I love the Gators. You and I text after every game when you're on the plane, So, and I would do anything I could to help the cause. And if Florida needed me in any capacity, I would do it in a second, in addition to what I'm doing now. But I don't think that's the direction you go. I think you bring in the next voice of the Gators, a little bit of a younger guy that can do it for a long, long time. So that would be my guess. So no, they have not reached out to me, but I would help in any way I could.
Good stuff, my man. Let everybody know how they can listen to your show daily.
Yeah. 1010XL.com. There's 2 apps. There's an AM app and there's an FM app. And I'm going to do a shameless plug here, Shane, while I've got you here. We have a charity, as I know you know, walk-off charities that helps underserved children play baseball. We have over 5,000 kids come through our program now. We have a tournament. Are you gonna play? Are you playing on our tournament, by the way? Are you?
When is it?
June 6th for Baker Sports. Are you representing Baker Sports?
I probably will. I'll probably get a call last minute.
Yeah, you're the star player of that group. There's no question with that big high fade. And so, we go online at walkoffcharities.com. We have incredible auction items. Shane, thanks for letting me pimp this, by the way. We have a trip to Canton to see Baselli get inducted in the game. It's all expense paid, flights, and we've got autographs from Tiger Woods to everybody, all the Gators, Werfel, Spurrier, Tebow. So we'd love to see people go to walkoffcharities.com and consider that online auction. So how about that? You weren't expecting that much of a pimp job, but there you go.
Yeah, it is a great charity. Real quick, I don't know if people announce this this soon or if it's a secret, but who's announcing about Baselli?
Mark Brunell.
Brunell. Okay, that's what I thought.
I thought everybody knew. We all assumed it would come down to Tom Coughlin and Mark Brunell, two people to whom he's very, very close. But Mark's his best friend. You have one best friend. And he'll do a fantastic. That's going to be a magical moment for people in our city because Tony's a great guy and a great friend, and really represents our city well. So that would be kind of a cool time.
All right, Frank. Appreciate your time, my man.
Okay, Shane. Anytime. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, that's Frank Frangie. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We're going to take another timeout. Come back, get to some of your text and Facebook Live questions.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Weeby Realtor, Caldwell Banker, Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Golf Course, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Point's where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Visors Rooftop, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Hotel Indigo, Sensei Asian Bistro, Escape Apology, and the HBC's restaurant Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Tuesday you can enjoy 50% off handcrafted martinis from 4 to 10. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank JC and Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jags, for joining us, giving us his thoughts on Mick Hubert. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Gary. He says, who will actually hire Mick's replacement, the university or the UAA? I don't think the university has anything to do with that. It's the UAA and the Learfield IMG Academy. They're the people that pretty much handle all broadcasts for the Southeastern Conference and the ACC. So I think it will be both the UAA and Learfield will be in charge of hiring. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I do agree with what Frank said. They're going to hire a young guy that can be the voice of the Gators for many, many years, as Mick was. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law. Now that the Jags got Tony Baselli in, who definitely deserves to be in, Fred Taylor should be next. I agree. Fred Taylor, in my opinion, is the best running back the University of Florida has ever had. If he didn't play for the Jags, he would have already been in the Hall of Fame. Don says, oh my, end of an era. Yep. And Mick will tell you he got that oh my from Dick Enberg, who worked for NBC for many, many years, kind of, I don't say stole his little slogan, but Mick will tell you that. So Natasha says she wants James Bates. I'm sure Batesy might get an interview. It just depends. I don't know if Batesy does basketball though. But again, as Frank said, they may hire two people. I just have been told that they're going to hire somebody that, like Mick, that can do both. So we'll see. Let's get to this day in sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Call us today, 352-376-2366. This day in sports. In 1991, the Chicago Bulls' Michael Jordan was named the NBA's MVP. I wasn't in Chicago then. It was 2 years later. That's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Again, I read here Mark Daniels. Somebody else put a text in. Yeah. Charlie says, Shane, you the next voice of the Gator. No, I'm not a play-by-play, people. I don't do play-by-play. I'm a color guy. I can tell you what's going on the football field. There's no way in the world I could be a play-by-play guy. Dan says, I don't think Bates would want to leave his teaching job. You know, he might still be able to do it, Dan. I'm not sure. But I know he enjoys doing that as well. I think he works for the ACC network right now, calling some of their games. So we shall see. But it's Michael says Tom Collette. I don't see that happening. Tom's does a good job. I think he helps with softball a little bit. It's going to probably be somebody we've never heard of, people. Nobody knew who Mick Hubert was when he was hired, and he turned out pretty good. So I'm anxious to see how quickly they get this done. And he says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, Mick has been my legally blind son's eyes for the past 14 years for Gator Sports. He's the best and has been so gracious when we have met him over the years. That's awesome. Yeah, Mick's a good dude, man. He's a good guy. Rick says Bates would be good. Andy says Jason Benedetti. Yeah, he's a good. I think he's with ESPN right now. And Chris says Bama perfected cheating. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the SEC coaches deal in Destin. I think that's next week. Boy, as Frank Frangie said, I don't know if I've ever seen a coach as mad as Jimbo Fisher was. I mean, he's literally pissed off. Cliff says, we'd love to see you and Batesy as a team. Yeah, it'd be fun. Batesy's a character now. So we'll see. I'll try to give an update on this whenever I hear things to see who they're looking at, when they possibly may hire somebody. But, we'll see. I need to talk about Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte, surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. JC picked some really good golfers. I picked 3 as well. If you love golf, PGA Championship there at Southern Hills in Tulsa, Oklahoma is a heck of a golf course. It should be fun to watch today. Wind will be blowing extremely hard. Don't forget softball today at 4:30 against Canisius. They start their road to Oklahoma City. Baseball's hot right now. Hitting the ball very, very well. Wyatt Langford is on fire. John says on Facebook Live, they had a meeting with Jimbo before the presser. Clearly he didn't care. He was pissed. He was. And I also saw some comments from Nick Saban saying he doesn't care what people think either. So they're going to go at it. Dan says NCAA went to 85 scholarships because Bama was getting all the prospects. Bama invented cheating. And Andy says men's tennis was beaten by Virginia. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier in the program. Upset. They had a heck of a run. But it happens. If you missed it last night, hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning score within 0.3 seconds to win. They go up 2-0 on the Panthers. The Celtics blow out the Heat. That series now is 1-1. And tonight, Mavericks Warriors game 2 should be exciting. So we shall see. That's going to pretty much do it for today's program. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully my voice comes back about Monday. And have a great weekend, folks. And we'll see you on Monday. Take care.
Trying to get the fans fired up. 2nd down and 10. Matthews rolling to his right, in trouble. Can't find anyone. Now he throws it for Harrison Houston, who makes the catch. He's in the open field. Harrison to the 20. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Gators!